Dear viewers, welcome back. In this video, we'll talk about innovation. While the AI Act aims to regulate AI and minimize risks, one of its key goals is to also foster AI innovation across the European Union, particularly for SMEs, so small and medium-sized enterprises. To achieve this, the AI Act requires each member state to establish at least one controlled environment where prospective AI system providers can develop, train, validate, and test their systems, including in real-world scenarios. This environment is known as a regulatory sandbox. So, what exactly is a regulatory sandbox and how will it function in practice? Let's break it down. In a common sense, a regulatory sandbox is a safe space, a controlled environment where companies can experiment innovative solutions without immediately facing the burden of regulations that might hinder the development of such solutions. The concept emerged in the 2010s in the financial sector when the UK's Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA, launched the first widely recognized regulatory sandbox. The goal was to help fintech firms innovate while ensuring that financial regulations were respected. Since then, the European legislator has, for instance, also created a regulatory sandbox for innovative blockchain solutions. The creation of AI regulatory sandboxes aims to give companies more legal certainty, helping them figure out how to comply with all the complex rules at EU and national levels before the system is placed on the market. It also encourages sharing of best practices through cooperation with the authorities involved in the sandbox. In a broader sense, these sandboxes are designed to boost innovation and competitiveness, helping to create an AI ecosystem across the EU. By gathering evidence during the testing phase, they contribute to better regulation over time. They also make it easier and quicker for AI systems, especially those developed by SMEs, to hit the market. Concretely, the AI Act provides that EU countries need to ensure that national competent authorities, the Market Surveillance Authority and the Notifying Authority, establish at least one AI regulatory sandbox. The sandboxes can be national or settled with other countries' competent authorities. And the European Commission will be there to help if needed. More sandboxes at regional or local levels can additionally be established on a voluntary basis. On a broader scale, the European Data Protection Supervisor also has the power to create EU-wide sandboxes specifically for union institutions when they act as prospective providers. To make all of this work, member states need to make sure the authorities allocate sufficient resources to establish the sandboxes effectively and in a timely manner. When relevant, competent authorities must also collaborate with other authorities, like data protection authorities, for instance, and may allow for the involvement of other actors within the AI ecosystems, such as the testing and experimentations facilities, the TEFs, or the digital innovation hubs. If there are already regulatory sandboxes in place for other purposes, the member states must ensure cooperation between the authorities supervising those other sandboxes and the national competent authorities supervising the AI regulatory sandboxes. Before the prospective provider is allowed to enter the sandbox, it must agree with the competent authority on a sandbox plan, describing the activities carried out within the sandbox. This includes the objectives, conditions, methodology followed, and time frame of such activities. Once in the sandbox, the prospective provider will beneficiate from guidance and support offered by the competent authorities to help it identify and manage risks. The idea is to ensure that AI systems meet both EU and national legal requirements, all while minimizing potential harms. At the end of the sandbox phase, prospective providers receive, upon request, a written proof of their activities and an exit report delivered by the competent authority. The exit report details the activities carried out in the sandbox and may be used to demonstrate compliance with the AI Act through the conformity assessment process. Both the proof of activity and the exit report must be taken into account by notified bodies with a view to accelerate conformity assessment procedures. This exit report can be shared with the European Commission and the AI Board, which is composed of one representative per member state, and can, under provider's consent, be rendered public, allowing for greater transparency. In AI regulatory sandboxes, personal data lawfully collected for other purposes can be further processed, but only when all of the following conditions are met. AI systems are designed to serve public interests in areas like public safety, health, and environmental protection. The processing activity cannot be carried on non-personal data, for instance, anonymized or synthetic data. Safeguards are in place, including effective monitoring for risks to individuals' rights, secure environment for data processing, and strict access controls and logs keeping. Processing of personal data in the sandbox cannot lead to decisions affecting individuals and must be deleted after use. A complete and detailed description of the process and rationale has to be kept. A summary of the AI project developed in the sandbox must be published on the website of the competent authorities. More generally, when processing of personal data are carried out, data protection authorities must be associated with the operation of the AI regulatory sandbox and involved in the supervision of those aspects. If significant risks for the health, safety, or fundamental rights are identified during the participation to a sandbox, appropriate measures must be taken to mitigate those risks. If no effective solution is possible, competent authorities may temporarily or permanently stop the testing or the provider's participation in the sandbox. In this case, they must notify their decision to the AI Office, a branch of the Commission that will be discussed in our 9th video. Prospective providers are still liable for any damage caused during testing and validation. That said, if they stick to the sandbox plan and follow the guidance from authorities in good faith, they won't face administrative fines for breaching the AI regulation. Similarly, they won't face administrative fines for breaching, for instance, the GDPR, provided that the competent data protection authority has been involved in the supervision of the AI system within the sandbox. Cross-border cooperation is encouraged, ensuring that innovation can flow freely across the EU. National authorities will coordinate through the AI Office and Board by informing them when a sandbox is created, sharing updates, and seeking guidance when needed. The AI Office must make publicly available a list of planned and existing sandboxes and must keep it up to date. To ensure transparency, national authorities will submit annual reports on how the sandboxes are running. These reports will cover, among others, best practices, lessons learned, and any incidents that occur. They will be publicly accessible. The Commission can take these reports into account when exercising its powers under the AI Act. The Commission will also set up a single interface where all relevant information on AI sandboxes will be accessible. To ensure uniformity across the EU, the Commission will establish detailed rules for the creation and operation of AI regulatory sandboxes through implementing acts. These acts will cover key aspects such as eligibility criteria, procedures for participation and exit, and the terms and conditions for participants. The implementing acts will have to ensure, among others, that the sandboxes are open to any eligible AI provider who fulfills eligibility and selection criteria, participation is free of charge for SMEs, the involvement of other actors of the AI ecosystem within the sandbox is facilitated, procedures and administrative requirements for application, selection, participation, and exiting the AI regulatory sandbox are easily intelligible and clearly communicated. Finally, the Commission will also have to ensure that prospective providers in the AI regulatory sandboxes are directed, where relevant, to pre-deployment services such as testing and experimentation facilities and European digital innovation hubs. This is it for me, but it's not the last shade of AI Act that we will discuss together. Don't miss the next videos of our series. Stay tuned!